Good morning. Good morning. My name is Milton Disomdebele. I'm from just around the corner in East London, and I'm part of FASfacts. It is such an honor this morning to be standing in front of so many beautiful people. I think it's going to be a really, really lovely day. Just a few arrangements before we start. On the hallway right on the left, we have the ladies and the gentlemen. Please feel free to use the to utilize that when in need. And I'm going to ask everyone that we please switch off our cell phones or put them on silent. And we are still under very strict lockdown regulations. So if you could please keep our masks on at all times, try to keep our distance as possible. I know it's not easy, and just follow all lockdown regulations. We have sanitizers by the entrance, but also please use your sanitizers as much as possible. One last thing, we are broadcasting live this morning, so whatever happens and whatever we do, you are asked to please try and avoid disturbing the cameras. With that said, when I spoke, when we were preparing for today, we were sitting in the table and having a meeting. One of the gentlemen in the office said, after your two jokes, this is the items that will follow. And I was like, huh. So I'm predictable. You guys already know I'm going to crack jokes. So the devil is the liar. I'm not telling any jokes this morning. And I hope that does not end up being a joke. Without any further ado, we are going to go straight to the program, and I'm going to ask the FASfacts team to get ready to give us a song so that we can go to the welcoming prayer. Please be on your feet, ladies. In moments like this, I sing aloud a song. I sing aloud a love song to Jesus. In moments like this, I sing aloud a song. Sing aloud a love song to you. Singing, I love you, Lord. Singing, I love you, Lord. Singing, I love you, Lord. I love you. Oh, in moments like these, I lift up my head. I lift up my hands unto Jesus. In moments like these, I lift up my hands. I lift up my hands unto Please sing it us. Singing I love. Oh, singing I love you, Lord. I love. Oh, singing I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. I love. Oh, singing I love you, Lord. I love. With all my heart and soul, yes, I love. Oh, I love you, Jesus. I love. Lord, I love you, Lord. Amen. Amen. I'm going to ask Pastor Enoch to please come up front.
Good morning, everybody. Before we can proceed with our program, shall we stand and observe a moment of silence for those who have passed on due to COVID-19. This is the day that the Lord has made. It is International Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Day that our Lord has allowed us to observe. Shall we therefore rejoice and be glad in it? I would like us to sing hymn number 2, which is relevant to our message in this very important day. Hymn number 2. It says, way maker. One verse for this time. Way maker. Do you know it? Yes, chorus, please. You are here moving in our midst. I worship you. I like it. My wife. Thank you very much. Our scripture reading is Matthew chapter 5, up to 16. Our scripture reading is derived from Matthew chapter 5, verse 13 to 16, which reads as thus: You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by man. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. We read thus far. May our God bless this reading of the scripture. In Jesus' name, amen. We shall use verse 14 as our text, which I important day. You are the light of the world. This paracle is part of the Sermon on Mount, which is central in the Christian life. Hearing Jesus pronounces his message while he was amongst the multitude of people who are following him because of his teaching and he has performed. While looking at them in their act of following, he said, You are the light of the world. At this juncture, Jesus specifically declares who they are in God's kingdom. In that sense, he declares what the These words imply that the world is a state of darkness. And it is for that reason that they are called to be light. In the world enclosed by darkness. A situation that the book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 2 describes when it explains the situation before God created everything. It indicates and shows that the earth was formless and empty, and the darkness was hovering over the surface. It further tells that when God created, God pronounced with God's word, saying, Let there be light. And there was light. In that sense, the void and shapelessness of the earth was changed And this God created out of nothing, because this God, through his voice, there was something. Now he says to those who are following him, you are the light of the world. Meaning that their belief, their understanding, their actions should depict their adherence to the rules and the authority as the citizens of God's kingdom. Hence, their mission was then and in the future to bear witness about this kingdom that the Sermon of Mount embodies. And it is for that fact that Jesus declares that they are the light of the world. Brothers and sisters, in this time of history of humanity, the followers of Jesus are expected to bring enlightenment, which was on those times related to the knowledge. Remember, during this time of Greek civilization, knowledge was crucial because knowledge was regarded as the source that gives solution to any problem. Yes, in this time of history, the knowledge was used or regarded as the things that tells what the processes of nature embody. It also tells about the physical diseases and other subjects of importance. Yes, the aspect of life, the reality of human existence. It is in this reality and context that the FASfacts greeting says, I can make a difference. And it is in that fact that the exponents of the FASfacts should be more motivated to express this fact with much vigor and determination, as they are called to be the light in the world, of the world. So much so, they have accepted the God-given task through the servant of the living God, the one that initiated this organization, meaning that he became a centrifugal force of light that penetrated the minds of those who felt to be part of FASfacts. What a choice. A choice chosen in the challenges that are facing the world. World full of confusion due to the forces of darkness darkness that propagates abortion of unborn babies. Instead of protecting God given lives, hence Jesus says, "You are the light of the world." Jesus' injunction prophetically pronounces what is expected of the kingdom's people then and in their future daily experiences. When I read through FASfacts literature, I could see that the vision, the mission, encapsulate God's objective of impacting goodness, the goodness that God imparted when God created everything. The Bible said all that God created was good. It is in that fact that I say, first fact, it is adhering to the will of God. It is adhering to the imago Dei that God created man into his own image. Shall we therefore say, do what is expected of you, the members, so that God may be glorified? Amen. Shall we pray? Almighty God, we thank you for your sustenance.
baby. I have a list of this place. I want to welcome Rev Enoch Kabito from the Dutch Reformed Church of the Berg. Maybe you can stand, let all the can see. Thank you. And Ms. Marlene Vries from the FIS Research Study in the Langeberg area. She will do her part in virtual. Welcome here. Ms. Shadaini Young from the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, as well as Kumla and Bontley from the fund. They also doing their part in virtual. Mr. Eric Young, some from Bristol. Bristol has been involved with FIS prevention campaign for the past 13 years. Mr. William Fredericks, teacher at Orchard Primary School, is in the room. Thank you and welcome here. Who will lead the bell ringing ceremony? Can you stand up, please, so the people can see? So, welcome here. Prof. Lizanne Kluter from the University of Stellenbosch and chairperson of FASfacts, board and directors. Welcome here this morning. And then all the other guests and FASfacts board and directors and staff members, you are all welcome here. From the community side, I want to thank each and everybody here today for the work you are doing in our communities. I want you to stand up for a minute today for all of you, because you all are the lights in our communities. And I hope that God will bless you all. Will you please stand up and I will light the candle. Thank you.
I hope everybody is feeling at home. At the Airbnb where I am staying, I wake up. Whilst I is preparing breakfast for everyone, I go to the kitchen, I take a dish, I go right until busy with them where um, visitors don't come. I'll be doing my own thing, I'll be making my own breakfast because I've been there so long. I feel at home, so I hope you guys will also be feeling that much at home this morning. Um, Now we're going to ask Miss Malene Degrisi to please come up front. Morning, Malene. Can you hear us? Good morning, Malene.
Good morning. I hope you can all hear me. Good morning. I just want to make sure if anybody can hear me. It seems as if I'm still on mute. Good. It sounds as if everybody might be able to hear me, and I want to say thank you very much for the invitation to speak about the fetal alcohol spectrum disorders research that has been done in the Western Cape over the past few years. I am going to start off with just giving a little bit of background information of what has been done over the years in terms of FASD research. So, this is just a summary, and I'll say something more about each of the points that is indicated here. When research in South Africa started in 1997, the first and the most important goal was to find what the prevalence of FASD in South Africa was. So there has been a lot of prevalence studies ever since, about which I will speak a little bit more later. Also, one of the very important pieces of information that have been that we've been able to put together and get the pieces to understand the bigger picture was to refine the FASD diagnosis to include the whole spectrum of disorders. We have also been able to look at maternal risk factors, why some women's children are more affected than others. We can also give information about alcohol and breastfeeding, about early diagnosis, early intervention studies to better the outcome of children that have been affected by alcohol prenatally, as well as prevention approaches and several other factors. But let's start right at the beginning and look at the refinement of a FASD diagnosis to include the whole spectrum. When the first study in South Africa was done in 1997, the doctors and the specialists involved in the study worldwide was only able to diagnose FAS, fetal alcohol syndrome, which is the worst end of the spectrum. Now, over the years, it has been very clear that not all children and all people are affected in the same way. Sometimes people are very badly affected with clearly visible facial features, but most importantly, brain damage. But then there are others on the spectrum who have less effects, and this is why the spectrum of effects with clearly defined diagnosis within the spectrum has been developed. So, on the one end of the spectrum, we will have confirmed fetal alcohol syndrome, where the most effects is visible, and then on the lesser effect of the spectrum, alcohol-related neurodevelopmental disorders, where the damage is supposedly less. In between these diagnoses lies a world of possibilities and of possible effects. If we look at the situation of prevalence worldwide in South Africa, we are in the very unfortunate position that if we look at the situation in South Africa, that the last study done where the results are available, the last study in Wellington has indicated a prevalence figure of somewhere between 16 and almost 31% of children in grade 1 affected by prenatal alcohol exposure. There have been different studies in different parts of South Africa, so this picture isn't unique to the Western Cape or to Wellington. Studies in the Robertson, Bonnievale, Ashton, Montague area have shown similar statistics. So have studies in the Northern Cape, in the R, Uppington, in the on the West Coast, in the Renosterberg and Aurora areas. If we look at the international prevalence figures, though, it seems as there's more or less around 5% prevalence worldwide. So, what we have to acknowledge is that the situation we have in South Africa with children prenatally exposed to alcohol is dire and is a very, very sad situation. The research has shown that there are several factors that influences the risk factors and the effect alcohol exposure has. One of the situations or the things we see most in South Africa is that many people do not drink during the week at all. But when the weekend comes, the bottles open and they start opening, and as they empty, the new ones are opened. So, binge drinking is a kind of drinking where a person has more than three or more drinks in one drinking occasion. Now, we know that three sounds like a very small number for the quantities that we know that our population can drink. In our research, we often see that women report more than 20 drinks in one drinking occasion, and that they do not think that that is overly, that is so much that it is a strange occurrence. It is quite a common occurrence. What we also know now is that the quantity of drinking, as well as when a woman drinks during a pregnancy, as well as how often she drinks, all has a definite influence on the effect on the fetus. The age of the mother also has a huge influence. The research all over the world has shown that the older the woman is, the more pregnancy she had, the more live births she has had, the worse the outcome of the child when she drinks during a pregnancy. Now, I know that many people now think that maybe we are now talking about women nearing their 40s. But in South Africa, we have shown that ages of 25 and upwards are already very high risk ages, because so many of our women have their first pregnancies at very young ages. Another factor that has a huge influence on the prevalence of FASD is unplanned pregnancies. So many of our women are on contraceptives, but they do not use it wisely. They miss their appointments when they need to go in for their 3 monthly contraceptive injections, and then have unplanned pregnancies, which are so often only discovered 3-4 months into a pregnancy. And while a woman doesn't know she is pregnant, she most often drinks until that pregnancy is confirmed in a clinic. The research has also shown that smaller women, um, meaning small in weight, in height, and also just a small physique in general, has a bigger risk of having a child with FASD when they are drinking. That has to do with the body mass index and the blood alcohol concentration when a smaller woman drinks a certain amount of alcohol compared to a bigger woman drinking the same amount. Rural residents still is a risk factor. A protective factor have shown to be religiosity, because the more religious women are, the less they tend to drink and the less their risk for having a child with FASD. Low socioeconomic circumstances definitely also has an influence, and women with depression who also tend to drink more and run a higher risk. One of the very important findings of the research lately is the effect of alcohol use whilst breastfeeding. There were for many years this perception that women should drink beer when they are breastfeeding to enhance their breast milk and to have more milk available for the baby. Our studies have shown that even small amounts of alcohol in breast milk has a significant influence on the development of the child. So, what this means is not that if a woman did not drink at all during a pregnancy, that drinking during pregnancy will cause, that drinking whilst breastfeeding will cause FASD. What this actually means is that if a woman drank during a pregnancy and while she is breastfeeding, that it literally adds to the damage done. These children have shown to have significantly lower weight and reduced verbal IQ, and it just adds insult to injury to what has happened to the child in pregnancy. Over the years, it was also believed, and it is shown and proven, that the best ages to diagnose a child is between the ages of 5 and 10 years. That is because the facial features are best developed at that time. And for a diagnosis of FASD, a specialist need to be able to see and measure the specific measurements of the development of the face to make a diagnosis. But it has been shown in recent research that it is possible to accurately diagnose children as young as 9 to 18 months. The difficulty with this is that it is seldom attempted. And in South Africa, it has only been done in one or two very specific studies where dysmorphologists from the United States have been able to come into clinics in South Africa and see children that have been tested for development over time. Some promising studies have also shown that it is possible that although the consequences of FASD are lifelong and causes a significant burden to those affected, that the young brain can always be enhanced and be developed by stimulation and interventions early in infancy. It is also proved or shown that improved nutrition may have a positive impact on development. That is something that is difficult to implement. What we have found in our study with nutrition is that very often where families are in dire socioeconomic circumstances, that they would not give the full nutritional supplement to the child for whom it was intended, but would rather share it between children or between a whole family. So that is something that is difficult to implement, but that can have a positive impact on development. Now, if we talk about prevention, there are a whole wide variety of different prevention approaches. In the case of fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, it has been shown that a multi-level comprehensive prevention approach is needed, meaning that we need prevention efforts on all levels of prevention. What that means is that we need broad awareness campaigns where we educate and improve and enhance the knowledge of a whole community by things such as newspaper articles, by visiting schools, by handing out pamphlets and community-wide campaigns. But we also need more than just that. Community-wide campaigns are not enough on their own. We need to enhance that, and by also focusing on women of reproductive age and giving more information to this group to enhance their knowledge about the increased risk of having a child with FASD. Then we also need to target women at the highest risk for alcohol use during pregnancy. And that would be women who may be drank during previous pregnancies, or women that we know who are using large amounts of alcohol. One of the very successful ways to deal with these high-risk drinking women is a method called case management, where a woman would have been assisted by a project officer or a person who helped her to stay sober throughout her pregnancy. The research on this is that even where women were drinking heavily early in pregnancy, that it is shown that the damage that was the limit to the damage was significant where women received some or other kind of assistance that helped them stop drinking during their pregnancy. So even though some damage is done when a woman drinks early in a pregnancy, it is always beneficial to rather stop at any time than to continue drinking throughout a pregnancy. Now, a lot of South African women um, have been involved in research where they were asked about the alcohol use, and very often the amounts of alcohol reported have been doubted by other studies, by people in the general population. Can it be true that women are telling the truth about what they are drinking, how and when they are drinking? So, to prove and to find out if we are getting the correct information, a study was done that took blood spots and nails from study participants. And these blood spots and nails were then sent away for analysis, and they could give clear indications of the amounts of traces of alcohol that could be found in blood as well as nails. And the correlation between the information that the women gave in the interviews and the information collected from the nails and blood spot showed an 87.5 correlation between the self-report and the physical evidence of what they drank. So this means that only 12.5% of women who said that they did not drink in pregnancy possibly drank and did not tell the truth. But this number of 87.5 is a huge number for self-report efficiency, and to show that our women are really very honest when they report alcohol use. The influence of drinking patterns on child development have also been studied. Now, we know that the generally accepted way of drinking in South Africa is weekend binge drinking, which causes high blood alcohol concentrations. And that is the kind of drinking that has proven to be the most dangerous form of drinking during pregnancy. I need to be very clear here and say that there isn't a form of drinking during pregnancy that is not dangerous. All drinking during pregnancy is dangerous because there is no way to be sure what the impact of even a little alcohol during pregnancy will be. But we do know that the more you drink, the more the damage, and especially binge drinking where you have high blood alcohol levels will increase the level of damage done to the child. We also know that when, how much, and how often a woman drinks is very important in the amount of damage caused. If we look at this slide, which shows at the very top of the slide, there are numbers which indicates the number of weeks and the development of the fetus during those weeks. The dark blue lines underneath indicates what part of fetal development really is the most important in those specific weeks of development. Now, if we look at the very top line is the development of the brain and central nervous system. And the most important development takes place during the first 16 weeks of pregnancy. So what we can clearly demonstrate from this is that although damage is done throughout pregnancy, and there is no safe time for drinking and no safe number of alcoholic drinks during pregnancy. The first week, when a woman doesn't know that she is pregnant, is really the most damaging time during pregnancy to use alcohol. I think this is very important if we look at even the development of the heart, arms, eyes, legs, the ears during the first 8 weeks of pregnancy. We can get a glimpse of the importance of getting the message across that women have to stop drinking before they stop using contraceptives, or if they are drinking, women who are sexually active, even if they are only social drinkers, they should be on contraceptive to prevent alcohol exposure in pregnancy. There are currently ongoing longitudinal studies that are still studying the effects of alcohol exposure on the individual over time. What we do know now is that the facial effects and the physical features of FASD do um, not disappear over time, but they are definitely less pronounced over time. That you really see the most facial effects in young children. That, however, unfortunately does not mean that especially the brain damage and the physical damage done to the body of the individual, that does not become less. That stays with the individual over time for the rest of their lives. I, a while ago, attended a conference where some young people who were alcohol exposed in pregnancy and had diagnosis on the spectrum gave reports of their physical health. And the sad thing was that all of them had really bad physical health in different parts of their bodies were damaged by alcohol. And one of them even suggested that fetal alcohol should not be called fetal alcohol syndrome or spectrum disorders, should be renamed to rather call it the whole body syndrome because of the effect of alcohol on the whole body of the individual. Any questions for me? Thank you. If there are no questions, thank you very much and all the best for a very successful rest of the day.
Very informative presentation. It always helps us a lot when we work on the ground to have all this information. It helps us understand our clients better. Now we're going to welcome visually Mrs. Shadi Nyokong from the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund.
Good morning. Good morning, Cape Town. Are you hearing me? Good morning, Cape Town once again. Good morning, Johannesburg. Madam Debele, thank you. The FASfacts team, good morning and thank you for inviting the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. I'm also wanting to greet the guests over there. Unfortunately, we're unable to join you due to COVID and sometimes it's still not yet safe to be traveling from one province to another, but I'm happy that we're able to join you visually and I really appreciate the people that have helped us to be able to connect with you. I did hear that there were people from Worcester Municipality, Langeberg Municipality, and the Reverend who actually opened the session for us today by blessing it and making sure that we're able to actually do the things that we're supposed to do, being blessed and being taken care of by our Almighty. And thank you so much. For Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, which is the organization that I am coming from, it is the organization about the children. Our business is about protecting and promoting the rights of children. We want to make sure that we're able to improve the quality of life of children in the country. For us to be able to do that, we know and understand that we can't do it alone. We need different social partners. Having people and organizations like FASfacts, we're actually able to reach children, we're able to support them, we're able to actually help them to get out of the situation. We really appreciate working with organizations like FASfacts. These are the organizations that are able to actually help us to reach children. As a children's fund, we work through 4 program areas. We're in health. In health, we have a children's hospital. We also have outreach program that is looking at primary health care. That is the program that I'm responsible for. It is called Child Survival, Development and Thriving, which I think it fits well with what FASfacts is currently doing. We're also having a program called Child Safety and Protection, which is really about making sure that the environment is nurturing, is safe for children to be able to grow and do the things that they're supposed to do as children. We also have a youth development program, which is about the young people, making sure that young people are able to drive their own development agenda. We also have the last one that is looking at improving the economical status of family. And I believe FASfacts is one organization that was able to actually experience all those, if not all, most of the programs supported by the fund. Coming back today, when we received this invitation for us, we felt that it was a perfect moment, it was a perfect fit. Because we have a program that is looking at the child survival of children to make sure that they survive within their first 2 years of life. We support pregnant mothers, we support their children so that children can survive those first 2 years of life. We support mothers that are supposed to attend their antenatal classes. And if you look and understand the mentorship program run by FASfacts, those are the things that we are doing. Hence, I'm saying when we received this invitation for us, really, it was a perfect fit. And I did hear Marlene talking about the importance of prevention, the importance of psychosocial support for pregnant moms. Also talking about making sure that we're able to focus on the first 16 months of pregnancy. As a children's fund, through the Child Survival Program, those are the things that we are doing. And I think working together, joining together with organizations like FASfacts, will be able to actually be the voice of the voiceless, the unborn children. We are really looking forward to continue to work with FASfacts in the work that they are doing, because also from the child protection point of view, we really want to protect our children from harmful substances. We are with you, FASfacts. We congratulate you for all the good work that you have been doing. We're actually ringing the bell with you today. I really don't want to be talking long, but I think my message and my request, the request for me, was to really support and emphasize and promote and highlight the good work that the FASfacts is doing. And as a children's fund, we'll always be behind you, we'll always be making that noise with you, the noise for the voiceless, those unborn children. And we're happy to be part of the event today. With those few words, I really like to say thank you so much, Francois and your team. You have done it well for those many years, and I believe you are going to continue to do that. We are really ringing the bell with you. Thank you. I really like to end there for now.
Thank you so much to Mrs. Shadi. Now we're going to have an item. We have a lovely lady here by the name of Christine. She's very talented. She plays a lot of different instruments, and I really, really admire her. Can you just clap hands for her as she goes to the piano? We are going to sing a popular song Please join us, sing with us. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. The waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. Lord, you are here, mending every heart. I worship you. I worship you. Please sing with me. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You're a waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Amen. Thank you so much, Christine. Christine is still going to bless us with some more beautiful music. We are excited and we can't wait. Right now, we going to ask Mr. Eric from Distel to come up front. Oh, is it?
Sustainability at Distel, what does that really mean? Often people will say, we only started that journey a year ago, but really we have been on that journey all along. Because in various parts of the business, in supply chain, in corporate affairs, in compliance and governance, we have actually looked at the wider remit of sustainability. But only about 2 years ago, did we put it all together into a holistic, integrated picture of sustainability, an integrated approach of environment, social, governance, and socio-economic. So for me, the sustainability journey at Distel is about having oversight across the whole organization of all the various facets that play into this really heavy world and the heavy word called sustainability.
Distel is a founding member of aware.org. They contribute, like all the other members, towards the work that we do. They are supportive of the mandate of aware.org. I think they believe in the core values. You see this from the CEO all the way down to corporate relations, marketing and trade. And together with the industry, one of the objectives is to create a responsible drinking culture in South Africa, and I believe that that is what Distel also values.
This partnership between ourselves and Distel is derived from the National Development Plan, which directs the government to work with the private sector. We have entered into the partnership focusing on 2 projects in the Eastern Cape. One is Fetal alcohol syndrome, and the other one is the empowerment of liquor traders. Both of these projects are playing a very vital role in the development of communities and to understand the prevalence of fetal alcohol syndrome in the Eastern Cape, in particular in Tanzania. We are doing this in collaboration with Rhodes University, and Distel is the funder. We really appreciate the contribution of Distel in these 2 projects because we are now able to empower the liquor traders to work within the confines of the requirements of the Act. We thank the partnership between ourselves and Distel.
South Africa has the highest FASD rate in the world. For that reason, FAR is focusing on research, awareness and prevention. We're helping communities who are at high risk to address the problem of FASD by means of awareness, prevention and training. For that reason, we are extremely grateful for the support that we've received from Distel for the past 5 years. The support was used in awareness programs in our Kimberley project and currently in our evidence-based prevention program, the Healthy Mother, Healthy Baby program in Uppington.
FASfacts has been established as an NGO during May 2002 with the main focus on the prevention of fetal alcohol syndrome. One of the programs that we've got is what we call the Pregnant Women Mentoring Program. And what we do is we provide a mentor to each pregnant woman with an alcohol problem. And the task of this mentor is to convince this pregnant woman to abstain from alcohol during a period of pregnancy, but as well as during a period of breastfeeding, and if possible, also beyond that time, so that she can be a good mother to a newborn child, as well as to her other family members.
Ons werk met die swanger mamas wat alkohol en dwelms misbruik gedurende hulle swangerskap en die wat 'n impak dit op die baba se gestel, se brein het.
Elke maand het ons 'n opleiding vir ons swanger meisies en elke tweede maand het ons 'n opleiding vir ons mentors waar ons ook self dit fasiliteer en ook ander rolspelers in die gemeenskap gebruik om deel te kan wees van hierdie opleiding.
The STEL is already involved with FASfacts since 2009, that's around about 10 years ago. They support us in programs in the Western Cape, in Roodeval and Avian Park, as well as in East London in the Eastern Cape. From our side, we really want to say thank you to the STEL for your support. Without your help, we would not be able to implement this campaign.
Meine Dame, ek is baie bly vandag. Vandag is 'n baie mooi, baie spesiale dag. Na? My vrienden and friend Jolene and Gerrit is here. You can wave a bit. Ja. Ek is baie bly om hier te vier. My naam is Eric Jongson van Distal and my Afrikaans is so daar, so ek sal praat Engels nou. Yeah. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today on this most opportune day. I just thought I'll reflect a little bit and tell you a little bit of a story, so not to keep it too heavy. I was presenting at a webinar yesterday with a lot of scientists and everything, and the word that stuck to my mind was what they refer as a wicked problem. A wicked problem is essentially a societal problem that is so difficult to solve, that's got interconnection, that not one entity can solve it. You need to work as a collective to solve it. So to give you an example, it's like things like climate change. People don't talk about climate change anymore. They talk about climate action failure. Another example could be gender-based violence, GBV. But guess what? They've added an F to it. So it's not gender-based violence, it's gender-based violence and femicide. Now we have other problems like challenges with plastic, but we have called it a plastic pact, a plastic pledge. So what we're doing together as a collective on FASfacts D-Day is no different. The best way I can describe this problem to you is think of a picture of a boat sinking in the ocean. There's 4 people on the boat, right? 2 on both sides of the boat. The 2 on the side where the hole is are busy pulling the water out of the boat. And there's 2 other chaps on the other side, the dry side of the boat. And they're busy looking at the 2 other guys that's working frantically trying to fix the problem. And instead of helping and working together, they look at each other and say, wow, aren't we lucky the hole is not on our side? Little do they remember and think that they were all in the same boat, right? And the problem, like what we're talking today on FASD Day, is exactly that. We all have to work together as a collective. And one can ask, What does the private sector, a community, an NGO, government, municipality, society, and a pregnant woman have in common? You might say we're unlikely partners because we operate in different spheres. I beg to differ. I would say we are true partners because guess what? We have the same interests at heart. When people from different parts of society have the same interests at heart, you ignite that passion. The interest at heart that we have is we want FASD problem to go away, to be something of the past, and to be as little as possible. And that brings us all together, and we become from unlikely partners to true partners. And one can ask, we don't have the same skill set, but that plays into our strength, actually, because we are your voice. We are your funders, we are your voice. Me, Gerard, Jolene, at every occasion we speak up. And Sonia, who is not here today, to speak up with our brand crafters, which are employees, to banks, to government, to our taverns, as you've seen on our video clips, to create an avalanche, a wave of communication so that we can all work together. Francois and his team has got a different sets of skills, putting all hands on deck. The social workers have their own things to do to mentor those pregnant mothers, and then change happen. We all have value for all, and that's what we want, to make a difference together. Yeah, so it's been a while, Francois. You saw on the video, 2009, almost like a marriage. That's real partnership. When you chip at it year on year, you stick together through thick and thin. That proves we're here to stay. We're here to grow together. We've spent millions, as you know, into the program. We've reached thousands and thousands of people, and may we go more. We've participated in workshops together. What has really worked very well is that component of the program. It speaks volumes. And the psychosocial support we give. Yes, we're very, very proud in terms of that intervention that you do, in terms of the pregnant woman mentoring program. We speak about it all the time. We want to be there with you all the time. And the results speaks for themselves. We check the stats all the time with Francois. And I want to let you know that last year, the performance of FASfacts is a goal of every employee at Distel. So if you succeed, we succeed. So we echo that message. It is in our bonus. And we've asked again that it's been in our reward system of 4,400 employees at Distel. So for your success is measured by our auditors and checked by our remuneration committee, and making sure as you succeed, we succeed, and we are our voice together. We want to thank you on behalf of Jolene, Gerard, Sonia, myself, and all the employees, our CEO, Richard, and our direct bosses, Andre Opperman. We just want to thank you for this beautiful day and making you part of this project. Thank you, everybody. May we go from strength to strength.
Thank you so much, Eric. Can we just put our hands together for the whole Distel team It is such a privilege to us, and we really don't take it for granted that you guys are in a position where you are able to grant us an opportunity to make a difference in the community. As much as we get excited about the interaction, about the difference that we can physically see, and all the relations that we have with the clients, but we really couldn't be able to do it without you. So we are really, really grateful. Okay, I'm gonna give the CEO a minute.
Yeah, Eric, I think I have to react on what what you've said, because there's always the question, must one work together with the liquor industry, or must one only say we hate the liquor industry? Now, you can make the decision to say we hate the liquor industry, but many times in the past, it showed that whether there's a liquor industry or not a liquor industry, there will always be a liquor industry. Because if you don't produce the alcohol or the wine or the brandy, somebody else will do it in the backyard. So that is why it is very important for me what you've said, that we are partners in this whole thing. I don't think that there's anyone working for a liquor company that will be say it's fine if my child drink too much alcohol. I don't think there's somebody like that. So it is also important for you that your child mustn't also drink too much alcohol. So that is why we wanted to say thank you also today for you, for taking FASfacts' hands, because we can't do it on our own. We can have the most beautiful program in the world, and I think we do have the most beautiful program, the BOP program, and the Pregnant Women Mentoring Program as well. But if we don't have the funding to implement it, it has no value. So we want to say thank you for so many years of supporting FASfacts. As I said last time, in the beginning, very small, but now you really give us substantial funding for many years, and we want to say thank you for you. And I want to say to the public also there outside that it is important to sit around the table and to discuss what can we do to help our youth not to fall in the trap of abuse alcohol. And that is where the liquor industry must also come to the table with us. And I think we must really start conversations in the direction of what can we do together to protect our youth, which is so vulnerable, and so many of them drink too much. Thank you so much, Distel from our side. We really appreciate what you are doing with FASfacts. And I also want to take the opportunity to react. Now I want that paper quickly. I also want to react on the song that Nonsendiso sang. What is so very important for FASfacts is that we know where. Sorry, where's the guy that knows? We know where our source of power lies. I just want to get that wording. Yeah. A few years ago, I asked the Lord, what must FASfacts do to be still working on the subject of the prevention of fetal alcohol syndrome when you come again to fetch all of us? What must we do? And he told us that we must make FASfacts part of the body of Christ, of the church. And that is exactly what
FASfacts is busy doing, because we know that our God is what this song say. He is our way maker. He is a miracle worker. He is a promise keeper, and he's the light in the darkness. He's a way maker, the miracle worker, the promise keeper, and the light in the darkness. And he is our source, where we really get our energy from when we stand up in the morning and can do what we have to do. Nonsendiso, thank you so much for presenting that song to us in such a beautiful manner. We really, really appreciate it. And Christine, thank you for playing the piano also for us. Then I also want to react on what Marlene de Vries has said. What some of you may not know is that they are part of a group of people that's doing research for many, many years. I think around about 10 years in Robertson, Montague, Ashton, Bonneville, and yeah, that 4 places. And their leader is Professor Phil May from the United States. And for many, many years, he comes for long times to South Africa to do research on fetal alcohol syndrome. And they are always ready to support us and assist us and help us when we need them. And we want to say thank you for the high quality of research that they are doing, and that we can take that research and see what we have to do to prevent fetal alcohol syndrome. So from our side, Professor Phil May, in your absence, and also for your team, I also want to mention the name of Anna Susan Marais. Thank you for the high quality of work that you are doing. We really appreciate it. And then I also want to say for Shari from the Nelson Mandela Children Fund, thank you so much for your support for many, many years, also around about 7+ years. Without your support, there's quite a lot of work that we wouldn't be able to do. Thank you so much.
So right about now, we are going to take 12 minutes break. Please go to our coffee station, make yourself coffee, it's quite cold.
two, two, two. Testing mic 1 2 1 1 2. One two two two. Test mic 1 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And thank you so much for your patience, for all those who have been waiting for us. Now we are going to welcome Mr. William Fredericks up front. Can we please clap hands for him as he comes up?
Good morning, everybody. MC, when I came in here this morning, today, and I saw you, I got a very strange feeling because you remind me of one of the team members I climbed with Kilimanjaro, and she and another lady, unfortunately, they're no longer with us. But everything about you remind me of her. She was the one who got seriously, that sunburn under her nose and lips. Now she was wearing a wide brimmed sun hat. It's just amazing how the sand reflects the heat of the sun from underneath, and she got burnt really bad. But, yeah, we leave that there. So on this day, I just want to pay tribute to them as well. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, they died in the mountains, in the Swartberg Mountains in Oudtshoorn, and not in Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro is a huge mountain, 5,895, 5,895 meters high. It's high, it's very high. You must take at least 5 mountains the size of Table Mountains on top of one another to reach more or less the height of Mount Kilimanjaro. So it's very high. So I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in 2009. And before that and after that, I experienced many adventures. But that expedition was unique. Every expedition is unique. If you want to reach the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, you must be a beste opgepaste baba, Bob. That is how FASfacts call it. And why is that? You need fitness, physical fitness, strong legs and heart and lungs. You must prepare. Do a lot of hiking in the mountains. Running will certainly help, cycling, swimming. So you need to be strong physically to be able to climb that mountain. And as part of your preparation, swimming underwater will also help to develop good lung capacity. Then that's very important because you will certainly need that in the high altitude. But you also need mental fitness. You must be able to tell you, I want to do that. I can do it. I will do it. Because that climb is as much a mental climb. It's in your head. And because you are going to be in unfamiliar territory, in the unknown, and you don't know what to expect. And also you must be able to deal with setbacks. I experienced at least 2 setbacks. The one was about a month before our expedition. I was seriously injured and I had a concussion. That is bad, people. You know, when you have that head concussion, hersenschudding, you cannot nod your head to say yes or no. You can't even drive a car because you must look left and right. It's serious. And I thought my adventure was over even before I started it. So I had to fight back mentally. And I had a very short space of time to do that. 4 weeks, about 4 weeks before departure, all the airplanes from Air Tanzania was grounded because of technical problems. So now we had to buy extra plane tickets, and with a budget already stretched to the limit, I thought, how am I going to fork out more money for other plane tickets. But somehow you have to manage and get around all those issues and setbacks. So you need to be mentally strong. I just want to interrupt myself. Small things like lip balm, sunblock, good insect repellent. It's so crucial because it can make or break you. I bought an insect repellent from a local supermarket, and there in Tanzania, it didn't work. Those mosquitoes and sandflies, they ate it like breakfast. So the best you can do is to find out what the locals do and what they use, and that will certainly help. And cut your toenails before you climb. So you need the right equipment because as you climb the mountain, you move through different climate conditions. On the first day, we walked in a forest. It was actually quite nice because we were covered by trees. And the next day, we had an environment, vegetation like the Kaapse Fynbos, so we moved out of the forest, so we higher up, about 2,000 meters up. And then we have that change like the Karoo type environment. Like you find when you go past Toes River. And then on day 4, there's no plants. It's desert, just sand and rock, and no water. So you must carry your water. Now, the high altitude, that is what kills people. At 4,000 meters above mean sea level, it really takes a toll on your body because your heart must pump the blood carrying oxygen to your muscles and your brain. But it's very difficult in that high altitude. So at 4,600 meters, some of our team members became sick, really sick. The one just next to me, we were resting for summit night. He felt sick. He started to vomit. And luckily, I could help him. It's difficult when somebody vomits, and we all just try to rest. And you need to keep yourself fine for this very important summit night. But I helped him, but unfortunately for him, his expedition was over. He couldn't make it. He was in no medical condition or physical condition to continue his climb. And we all felt sorry for him. So what we do is, as far as our clothing is concerned, we make use of a layering system. So next to your skin, you wear a moisture management material, quick wick material, and then you have your fleecy layers, and after that you have your outer layers. Now, each and every layer has its unique property to protect yourself from the elements. Like your outer layer, for an example, the outer jacket, it must be waterproof, windproof, and breathable. And when you're up there, you will realize why is that. So summit night, that is not the most important night, but a very, very challenging night, because now you have to go about 1,000 meters. It's like about climbing Table Mountain, about 1,000 meters up. But at that point, it's extremely difficult to breathe, and people fall sick. But now we must summit, because that's why we are there to reach the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, to reach Uhuru Peak. Uhuru Peak is the point, the highest point on Mount Kilimanjaro. So now you have to kit, you must go full kit. All the layers, everything must be right. There's no chance to turn back or do it over, because breathing is difficult. And some of our team members, while we were climbing, they were rushed down the mountains because they became sick, very sick. And in order to save their lives, they had to be rushed to a lower altitude. So that night is very traumatic, actually, because of things that happened. I remember it was about 2 in the morning when my body became so tired, she couldn't continue anymore. And she told me she can't go on. I said, okay, sit for a while, just for a little while. And then she fell asleep. I stood there with her and watching over her, and then I felt how my feet got cold, so cold that I got worried. Then I decided, no, I must wake her up. I woke her up, and I said, we must continue. And at that point, I just couldn't leave her. And luckily, she got the strength again to carry on. And slowly but slowly, we continued. Then there was a time, almost the same time, I got so thirsty that I took a sip of water. Now your water is in a bladder inside your backpack. And then there's a pipe coming out of the backpack from the bladder. So now you can access your water. But that plastic pipe must be covered with a special rubber pipe to prevent it from freezing. Because believe me or not, how quickly the water can freeze in that pipe. But also important, when you drink water, then you must blow it back into the bladder. Otherwise, the water can freeze in the pipe. So there was that one moment that I forgot as I was helping my body. I forgot to blow the water back. And after a while, when I got thirsty again, and I want to drink water, there was just that little piece of rock hard ice blocking that valve, and I couldn't drink water. I actually started to panic because I was really thirsty. And somehow I managed, you have your knife or whatever, get that cloth out, and I could luckily drink water. But the panic, that moment you experience is really, it's frightening. So little things happen, but it is also, it can make a difference between life and death. Many people tried to reach the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. Many people did. Some did not. Some of our team members didn't make it. And what is important that how you must deal with setbacks on the journey. Because you don't know what to expect. Anything can happen. You can slip. I slipped one morning on a smooth layer of ice. And I thought I was going to slip down the mountain. But luckily, I could get a grip. And I thought, wow, that was almost. So, my partner and I, we continued, my buddy. And we reached the top of Mount Kilimanjaro at sunrise that morning. Now, what a spectacular view. What a joyous occasion when you reach the top. She started to cry because she was so emotional when she reached the top. And I was so glad for everybody who reached the top. It's just so happy, so glad. And now you take your photos and everything, but you cannot stay there for too long because of the high altitude. And I think that when people go out there, the main killer is the high altitude, mountain sickness. And that is what was the cause that some of our team members couldn't make it. And they work so hard and do all the preparations, and then not be able to reach that top is really, it's very sad. So, on top of Kilimanjaro, is this ice, but also the strong winds. So, you're in very dangerous conditions, actually. So it took us 4 days to reach the top of the mountain. 4 days. And it took us 2 days back. So what I want to say, what I learned from the mental thing about I want to, I would like to do it, and I can do it. And that is why I decided, because I worked with FASfacts on the projects while they were in the Ex River Valley, I got that cap, and on that cap was I can. And I thought, all right, even if that can encourage other people, especially young people, to say, I can do it, then it is worthwhile. And I'm glad that today I can say, listen, you can do it. So I encourage everybody, if you can do it, you have this one life, and you get older. As the one adventurer said, hey, I see you've grown to the side, he said. I say, yeah, I picked up weight. I mean, it was 2009, it's about 12 years ago. But people, what a wonderful experience. And I encourage everybody to try things in life before it's too late, before you get too old. Just go out and do it and live your life. You have one life, grab it, enjoy it. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Wow, this was amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. I could relate to this story in so many ways because everyone is on their own journey and they're climbing their own Kilimanjaro. And we left so many people along the way, but we continue to press on. And we want to eventually get to the top of each of the mountains that we are climbing. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. Right now I'm going to welcome the vision bearer, the CEO and the founder of FASfacts to come up front. Can you clap hands?
Yeah, I just want to ask Tom if you can put the photo from William where he's on top of Kilimanjaro. And he told me that it was so cold that day, but he wanted to take off his coat and put on the cap because he wanted that photo to show us he got on top of Kilimanjaro. So it's a special way of supporting the prevention of fetal alcohol syndrome. So, William, thank you so much for sharing that also with us. Good. Now we're going over to pledge. That is why you see a fountain here. It is now the pledge, eh? Yeah. That is why you see a fountain here. Now, a fountain we all know in nature, not this fountain, but in nature, a fountain, water runs into the fountain and water runs out of the fountain. But as soon as water only runs out of the fountain and no water runs into the fountain, then the fountain will run dry. As simple as that. And if you look at the NGO is like a fountain. The NGO has quite a lot to give to outside to the communities. But to do so, that NGO needs different things, of which funding is part of it. It doesn't only need funding. That NGO needs, depending on what programs or what is its function. In our case, we need, for instance, mentors to take the message to the community. We need T-shirts with a FASfacts message on it. We need posters. We need so many things to give out to the community. But if there's no sources running into that NGO will come to a standstill, non-existent. And that is why I want us today to do it practical, to say, if I am a funder, I am prepared to continue with supporting these programs. Obviously, until as long as the quality of the programs is there, obviously. And that is why I'm going to call a number of people today. You don't know that I'm going to call you. And what you need to do is, you must come to the front. You can go there, and then you take one of the small buckets, and you put skip water. What is the Engels? You take some water into the bucket, and then you can throw it into the fountain and say that, say for instance, on behalf of the Department of Agriculture, we support the prevention of fetal alcohol syndrome. Is that fine with you? Okay. There's no order of importance when I call people now to the front. It's just a list of names. The first person that I want to call is Pauline Hess from the Langeberg municipality. So you can come and you can het julle miskien 'n mic wat jy 'n los mic wat jy vir haar kan gee? And then I want to call Eric from the Stel. Yeah. Eric, if you can take the mic, because we want to hear you say, on behalf of the Stel, we support the program.
On behalf of Distel, we pledge our work to FASfacts towards all their work they do on fetal alcohol syndrome disorder.
Great. And then I want to call Eric Hansen Preuss. He's a youth worker at Drosday School, and he's also the person that wrote our BOP program. He's the author.
On behalf of people writing programs for FASfacts, we pledge our support.
And then I want to call Pastor Johan Skoenraad. Are you still here? Is Johan still here? Oh, I think good. And Jolene Hen.
On behalf of Fetal, we once again pledge our support towards preventing fetal alcohol syndrome.
Gertrude Jacobs from Department of Agriculture. And I think I'm going to call also Lenise Brandt, Department of Social Development, Western Cape.
On behalf of the Department of Agriculture, we pledge our support in preventing fetal alcohol syndrome.
And I want to call Gert Barnett, Reverend Gert Barnett from the Northern Cape. He's also one of our board members for the Northern Cape.
From the Department of Social Development, we pledge our support.
Okay. And then I want to call Marnet Janse van Rensburg, also a reverend from the Eastern Cape. Although she's now in the Western Cape, they moved.
On behalf of Northern Cape, also of the Dutch Reformed Church, I support FASfacts. Kan ek dit in Afrikaans ook sê, namens die Noord-Kaap en die NG Kerk, beloof ek ook die trou van ons gemeenskappe aan FASfacts.
Christus Skuman from Grindbeck.
On behalf of every unborn child in the Eastern Cape, I pledge my continued support to FASfacts and for the work we do.
On behalf of Grindbeck, we support FASfacts. Thank you, Council.
William Fredericks, Orchard Primary School. And then Cecilie May from the Brede Valley Municipality. And also Reverend Enoch Kabitu. And I want Caroline, his wife, to join him.
We support FASfacts in their endeavors and everything they do.
Menzi from Transnet, is she here? Welcome so much.
Breda Valley Municipality, we will support FASfacts 100%.
Can I ask you to take off your mask only for that moment when you speak? And then Elizabeth from Rodeval.
On behalf of Dutch Reformed Church of the Berg Ministry to the Fathers, I pledge support to the failure.
And then I need a mentor from Ivan Park as well.
On behalf of Bible School Dutch Reformed Church, Bogerveld, I pledge to support FASfacts.
On behalf of Transnet, we support the program of the child fertility.
Dankie Mensie. En dan wil ek tog vir Gerard van de Stel ook.
We as Rodeval mentor will give our support in every way. We as Avon Park community mentors will give our support to FASfacts in our community.
Dan wil ek tog ook vir Gerard van de Stel oproep om dieselfde te kom doen, want hulle is al soos 'n 3-manskap. So ons kan nie vir 2 laat doen en die derde ene doen dit nie. En 2.
Namens de stel en die ryk verhouding wat ons het met FASfacts, is dit 'n voorreg en 'n eer om julle te ondersteun. Baie dankie.
Good. Now, can we proceed? Yeah, now it gets to the last item on our program, and that is the bell ringing ceremony. And I want to call Jolene in from the Stel to join me in the front. There's a certain procedure that we follow with the bell ringing ceremony. Jolene will give us a short history on the bell ringing ceremony, and then there's certain wording that she will read out, and then we will ring the bells. They are the very same people that did that pledge, you can come to the front and you can take a bell, each one of you. Okay? The very same people that did the water pledge.
Once again, good afternoon, everybody. Just a brief history in terms of what signifies and where it all started and why we are all here today. The first Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Day started in the year 1999 on the 9th of September in New Zealand. So for those All Black supporters, it started in New Zealand. When a minute of reflection bells rang at 9:09 in the morning in the Albert Methodist Church. It then moved over to Australia and then to Cape Town, South Africa, where the bell rang in Cape Town 9:09 on the 9th of September. Ladies and gentlemen, the date and the time were chosen to mark the 9th minute of the 9th hour of the 9th day of the 9th month, which serves as a reminder that fetal alcohol syndrome disorder, it is in fact totally preventable. If a woman and mother does not consume any alcohol during the 9 months of a pregnancy. We will now do the symbolism of International Fast Day by having the bell ring ceremony. Francois, if you can also please join us with the ceremony. We can't not have this without you, sir. Yes, please do. On this day, the 9th of the 9th, 2021, we ring this bell in remembrance of our utmost, most vulnerable unborn children. There are 101 reasons not to drink alcohol when pregnant. 2 eyes, 1 nose, 2 ears, and 10 toes. Ten fingers, 1 sweet mouth, 2 arms for hugging, 2 strong legs to run, 2 feet to walk on in the sun, 1 spine straight and strong, and 2 hands to hold all day long. 20 baby teeth for a beautiful smile, 32 permanent teeth after a while. One good heart to beat steady and strong, 2 lungs to sing a nursery song. One good liver, healthy as a horse, 2 first words Mommy and Daddy, said over and over again. Two healthy brain frontal lobes for good impulse control. One healthy brain to process it all. Two healthy, loving parents to care for this child. One precious little spirit, so tender and mild. One first step towards a future filled with hope and pride as we nurture, protect, guide, and love this precious gift only sent from above. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, all. And thank you so much to everyone who has made a pledge, and we pray that God sustains the decision that you made today. We are now coming to the closing. I'm going to ask Prof. Lizen to please come up front.
Good morning, everyone. Goeiemôre almal. Molweni. I'll be speaking in English and now and again in Afrikaans. Ek is Lizaan Klutwe. I'm a daughter of this soil. Ja, so Worcester, ons is van Worcester se mense, ons is van Suid-Afrika se mense. So this is the town where I started working as an occupational therapist in 1997 at a tender age of 23 years old. And I started working at the then Eben Donges Hospital. So I met Francois years later again when I came back to do research on why mothers drank during pregnancy. And so that was in 2007. And so that's where my path with FASfacts started. But my path with speaking for unborn babies started way before then. It actually started before my own birth. And so I'm standing here and I'm bringing with me all the people who got me here. So I'm thinking of my late father, Robert Smith, who left us a month and a half ago. And I'm thinking of my mum, who also used to drink a drink in desperation of fighting for a family and fighting for a future. And when you look at me, you have to know that all of us have stories and our stories matter. And so when I share my story, when I shared my story, I think it was about 7 years ago, when I shared my story in one of the mental training workshops, I said that I am the living proof that we can, thank you, Mr. Fredericks, we can beat this. We can turn a wicked problem where you have a tip of an iceberg and you feel that the only identity that you can associate with is that I'm bad, I'm a drinker, I'm not so cool, I'm not going to make it. We can take that and we can flip it into, I'm standing at the top of Kilimanjaro. So thank you for this opportunity to do the word of thanks. And when I say thank you on behalf of the organization of FASfacts, of all the branches that we have been blessed to establish over the past year or 3. I'm saying thank you on behalf of all the mothers and the babies out there who have benefited from the work that FASfacts and all the funders and all the donors have been contributing. I'm saying thank you on behalf of those babies who have still to be born. And I'm saying thank you on behalf of the mothers whose stories matter first before they become a statistic. And so in concluding and summarizing what I've heard from today, I'm saying thank you that people can come together from different walks of life to contribute to a cause that matters to all of us. So there's no us and them. I'm living proof of that. The moment you think it's them, then it's me, then it's you. And so I'm saying thank you that families can stand together, that service providers can stand together, that funders can take time out of their busy lives to be here today. Thank you. That service providers who relentlessly get up every day and do what they have to do, continue doing that. I'm saying thank you for that. I'm saying thank you for staff and at the office and Nonsendiso and your staff members, and she travels hours and then she comes and she looks immaculate like that. So thank you to Nonsendiso and her staff, and thank you to our Reverend from the Northern Cape and people who traveled far and wide, that you made the time to come and join us here. In terms of our legislation, we are focusing on our mothers and our babies, and we call it maternal and child health. And FASfacts is focusing on Sustainable Development Goals number 4 and 5. So if any one of you wondered, that's what we're working on. We are intentional and we are goal-directed. We want to focus on mothers and children because they are the sisters, the daughters, the friends, the mothers, the wives of today and of the future. And so I'm saying thank you for that as well. As an occupational therapist, I can't only focus on the person, I have to focus on what people do. And so people work, they eat, they sleep, they care, they socialize, they drink. Because we drink and we eat and we are merry. And so there was something said about responsible drinking, and so that's what we want to work towards. We want to make sure that everyone can drink responsibly, not only certain people. And so when I say that, I'm trying to nudge us to become a little bit more inclusive. Let's include everyone in drinking more responsibly. So in thinking of the tip of the mountain, I'm thinking of FASfacts as an NGO. And I'm thinking of the one thing that I left my research with, my master's research when I started. I was a little bit disappointed because I thought I would discover something really exciting after having finished 5 years of studying my master's. So I was disappointed when I realized these mothers that I spent time with to find out why they drink during pregnancy. Why would they drink? Why would they hurt their baby? And I came away with, they're just making a living. They're trying to cope. They're trying to keep their head above the water. And so drinking was a way of coping. But underneath that, what scared me and what made me feel really bad about trying to fix this wicked problem on my own was that I realized that these mothers were actually just like me. They woke up in the morning and they dreamt about something different to what they were experiencing in their lives. They woke up and they cooked food on the front stoop on an open fire, and they were dreaming about places far away from where they were. And so that's what I learned. 5 years of my life I spent just to find out that these people were just like me. And so when I think of this tip of the iceberg, I'm thinking the kind of transformation that we as stakeholders and partners want to work on is the kind of radical transformation that creates spaces and places where people can become responsible, they can visualize, they can dream, they can experience support, whether it's psychosocial support, whether it's training, whether they can empower themselves. They can experience the feeling of what it means to take responsibility for themselves and to make a choice for life, for them and for their babies. They can take accountability. We want mothers and children who can stand on their own 2 feet and say, this is me, I can. So, Reverend, thank you very much for your word, and I've used the word create a lot. So thank you for bringing that into the conversation. Marlene de Vries, thank you for the stats. And I've kind of say tongue-in-cheek, our people are not stats only, but the stats are important. I'm asking, where's the stats on our partners? And where are the stats on our fathers and on our boys and on our, because I think as women we carry quite a lot. So I am putting out a challenge to you, Marlene, and I'm saying we need stats that show how we are supporting mothers and children to become what we envision them to be. I'm thanking Christine for her lovely music. In her absence, I think she left already, and thank you for the beautiful song that you sang together with Millie. Millie, thank you very much. Estelle, you've been thanked so many times, so I know you feel thanked. I'm gonna thank the camera crew, the technical team, as well as the NG Kerk Moedergemeente Woester with the Dominee. Thank you so much for this lovely venue. It's such a suitable place to have this function today. I'm going to also would like to thank Ms. Pauline Hess from Langeberg Municipality, TMN Events. Thank you that you are able to share this event online. And then Shadi, last but not least, our Nelson Mandela Children Fund buddies. So we have not yet reached the summit, but we are looking at this wicked problem together. We are joining hands and we're saying, here we come towards creating hope, partnership, and environments where families, service providers, the private sector, government, higher education can create a culture of responsible drinking and radical transformation for global impact. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. We have come to the closing of today's event. Thank you so much for all your cooperation. Thanks to everyone who's watching us visually. They've been there for 3 hours. We would like to pass a word of gratitude. As we close, I'd like Rev Marnet to please come up front and just close for us in a prayer. Last arrangement as she comes up front, for all our guests, after the closing, please just go straight to the hall. There's refreshments for you there.
Thank you. If you don't mind, I'm so glad that the Lord understands Afrikaans as well. And I hope you do too, because I can't pray in English really. If you bear with me, let's close our eyes. Here ons God, U is ons genadige God. U is die een wat ons onderhou. U is die een wat ons lief het bo alles. Dankie vir hierdie voorreg wat ons het om vandag deel te wees van die internasionale dag vir die voorkoming van fetale alkoholsindroom. Here, help vir ons om elkeen daar buite 'n rol te gaan speel en iemand te beïnvloed om 'n beste opgepaste baba te hê. En ek stem saam met Lizaan, Here, dat ons die papas ook moet nader trek, dat hulle ook belangrik is. Dankie Here vir u goedheid, vir u liefde. Seën ons ook verder. Vir almal wat ver moet ry, wil ons bid vir veilige reis, en ons wil bid vir elke persoon om 'n invloed te gaan uitoefen in die omgewing waar hy en sy beweeg. Ons loof u. Amen.
Skies tog, ons vergeet altyd om 'n groepfoto te neem. So is dit moontlik dat die van julle almal wat nou nog hier is, dat ons net buite gaan en net een groepfoto neem. Is dit fyn? Okay.
Mag ek asseblief nog iets sê? Ek is die sameroeper van die gebedsondersteuningsgroep vir FASfacts. So as jy lus het om deel te wees van die gebedsgroep, wil jy nie asseblief met my kom praat nie. Ek gaan net jou naam neem en jou foonnommer. Dit is 'n WhatsApp groep wat ons het, of 'n broadcast groep. So kom gee net vir my jou naam as jy nog nie deel is nie, dan sit ek jou ook op. Dankie.